Episode 97. Only Komori is allowed to do this with Eorzeans. Probably because she's a Lalafell, and anyone else wouldn't fit in his lap. Although Alphinaud is kind of small, but they don't have that kind of relationship. Not like us, right Eorzeans? Proceeding to the meeting. Enough goofing around. I don't recall... Here it was. I was upstairs, but I guess it's just in this little room, repurposed for the use of a cutscene. Can't actually go inside the room, of course. Actually didn't mention, I had this out, didn't I, last episode? Some random stranger just decided to hunt me down in Nimsala and trade with me for nothing, this free turtle. I tried to pay them for it, like 6 gil or something. I was struggling with the controls of the trade since I don't know how to use it. But when I offered to pay them 6 gil, they offered me 10,000 gil in addition to the Guido, so I decided to stop negotiations there and accept the trade. Free money and a Guido, the kindness of strangers. So I'll keep this out for a little while. Just kind of floats around off the ground. Well, it looked weird. Floating around an inch off the ground, or kind of waddling around on the ground like turtles do. Although that made me look kind of cuter than just floating around. No, it's plenty cute. Anyway, we're here for this. We have been expecting you, madam. Pray take your ease inside, and I shall summon the others.
Have faith, my friend. You need only state your case with confidence and clarity.
Commander Leveilleur, it is both an honor and a pleasure to meet you. I am Aymeric, Lord Commander of the Temple Knights.
Alphinaud Leveilleur, at your service. Your reputation precedes you, Sir Aymeric. I think we will find that we have much in common.
Speaking of reputations, yours towers over us all. Does it not?
It does indeed, Lord Commander.
I am not too proud to admit that I have followed your activities with an interest bordering on fascination. Full glad was I to learn that you would be joining us. Now then, shall we begin?
We know full well that the Garleans will return in force ere long. What is more, we have yet to achieve a lasting victory over the primal menace. The beast tribes continue to summon their gods, and each incarnation is stronger than the last. Ishgard is not immune to these threats. I must reiterate that it would behoove your nation to rejoin the Eorzean alliance.
Once again, I must respectfully disagree.
On what grounds?
Despite their presence in Kurthus, the Ixal do not concern us. The territorial claims pertain to Gridanian lands, and it is the people of Gridania whom they harry. Consequently, the Holy See judges this to be a Gridanian affair, and Ishgard does not intervene in the internal affairs of other nations. Even were that not the case, our forces are wholly committed to the Dravanian conflict. We have not the knights to spare. As for the Garleans, we are not ignorant of history. We have observed the rise and expansion of the Empire, and we agree that it is only a matter of time before they resume their campaign in Eorzea.
Then surely it would be in our best interests to present a united front.
Mayhap one day, but not yet. Gaius van Belsar is dead, and the legion of conscripts he left behind lacks the will to fight. We think it highly unlikely that they will emerge from behind the walls of their castra for some time.
Forgive me, but if Ishgard's position has not changed, why did you agree to this meeting?
It was not only as a representative of Ishgard that I came here.
Pardon?
It is not within my power to change Ishgardian policy, regardless of my personal feelings. There is, however, one area in which I may exert a measure of influence. Concerns have been raised over the supplies House Fortin has offered to Revenant's toll. These have led to calls for restrictions on the provision of aid to foreign powers. I can ensure that the shipments continue unabated.
Sir Aymeric, we would be in your debt.
No, you would not, for I require something in exchange. Of late, there has been a flurry of Dravanian activity, the purpose of which was not immediately clear. However, our astrologians have since observed alarming changes in the heavens. The dragon star waxes unnaturally bright, and there are whispers that it portends the resurrection of Midgard-Sorma.
The fallen guardian of Silvertear Falls? That's absurd.
Full many times have I gazed upon the dragon's corpse still wound around the Agrius, and wondered how different our world might be if it yet lived to plague the skies. I do not know, and I do not wish to know, nor does any son of Ishgard. Yet the mere presence of Dravanian forces is not sufficient grounds to send knights to Mordona, whatever our astrologians say. As I told you before, we have not the forces to spare.
But we do. So you will intervene on our behalf if we agree to watch over the Keeper of the Lake.
Do you accept these terms?
I do. I will see that you are kept abreast of any developments. I regret that we could not come to a similar agreement on other matters, but I understand that you are not at liberty to make such decisions. Nevertheless, I hope that what we have accomplished here today will serve to demonstrate to your countrymen that we can work together towards a common goal. Mayhap one day we shall look back on this moment as the first step towards a united Eorzea.
Mayhap we shall, Commander.
What is the meaning of this?
The caravan, my lord. It's been attacked. It was Iceheart, my lord.
What? By the Fury! All our precautions were for naught?
A successful first attempt of using those settings that I mentioned. It didn't come out on video, which is the whole point, but I was swapping between the presets for my profiles. I guess with just a tap. This menu doesn't come up, so I swapped to the default in the middle of that cutscene. If I train myself, I can quickly swap just like that to the default whenever the screen fades to black and not worry about pressing the paddle, and then return it to normal whenever I get back out. Of course, I won't have to talk about it each time. That was just the first time I'm testing it out, so all part of training myself to get used to it, is all. Part of that jester outfit again. Or magician outfit. I'll worry about glamours and stuff Maybe when I'm done with the main quest. We're not too far now. Just 2.4, which we're on, and 2.5. Speaking of glamours, I should probably change the way Komori looks at some point, right? Of course, I've been saving her main appearance change for a new expansion or something like that. Really get out of these clothes that are really meant for beginner level magic users. You get these at level 15 from the training courses that you can take. But I thought they were a good iconic look? Classic look, that's the word. For someone going through the initial story. Probably best if we go for something a little bit more, I don't know, well-traveled. Though I have gotten used to this. Maybe I don't want something too different. Of course, the horns are just for the summoner thing. I'll probably switch around the way that she looks for Black Mage. Both the outfit and without the horns. Anyway. Just when we were starting to make progress. And to make matters worse, the caravan they spoke of was bound for Revenant's Toll of all places. Honestly, were I so inclined, I should think the gods were conspiring against us. Happily, however, I am not. I would know more of this attack. Let us speak with Lord Horsefront and find out what he has learned. My sincerest apologies for the interruption, my friends, but the situation is such that we must act swiftly. If you would be so kind as to elaborate. Iceheart's heretics fell upon the caravan bound for Revenant's Toll, as it was passing through Boulder Downs. 'Twas an ambush, swift and ruthless. In an instant every knight was slain, every crate seized. Then, as quickly as they had appeared, they were gone. 'Twould seem an impossible feat without knowledge of the road. Knowledge to which only a select few are privy, I presume. Quite. We can pursue that avenue of inquiry in due course. It seems to me that examining the scene of the ambush should be our first concern. The trail is yet warm. We must act swiftly, as Lord Horsefront said, lest the crucial evidence be lost. You have a knack for discerning hidden truths, Komori. Why don't you go and inspect the ambush site in person? An excellent idea. Inform my men of your intent upon arrival, and they will gladly share their findings. My men are conducting their own investigation at present. Follow the road south towards Mordona, and you shall find them in the wagon in due time. I shall remain in Camp Dragonhead for now. Should you learn aught of interest, pay return at once. It takes but one pair of loose lips. I don't exactly remember what this taciturn temple knight sounds like, whose name I do remember, but I don't think they spoke her name yet. Even though she was voiced in that last cutscene. Of course, not that I'm anywhere close to sounding like them, even if I do remember what they sound like. Just more so for differentiating what they sound like between each other. Picking anything rather than picking nothing. Ordered some food between episodes. Maybe it'll arrive even during this episode, depending on how quickly it sends out. Or at the end of this episode. We'll see. Move along, adventurer. There's nothing for... Eh? Lord Horsefront bid you speak with us. Then you must be... Beg your pardon, Scion. As you can see, they left nary a crate behind. Tipped the wagon for good measure, even. Whole thing's a bit odd, if you ask me. Would have been easier to just steal it. Though a damn sight harder to conceal it, I'll allow. Reckon they came prepared, probably with wagons of their own hidden away off. Ah, but pay no heed to my ramblings. Absent of proof, 'tis naught but speculation. Might be as the squire receiving care at the observatorium could tell you something more factual. That is, if he's awake. Unlike myself, he was there during the attack. Not that his presence amounted to much. I thought they said they slaughtered all. Good to hear someone survived. Sorry, Scion, but if it's answers you want, I've got none for you. Let's go and see what that squire laid up at the observatorium remembers. If he's fit to speak. Getting used to using this paddle now. For jumping and flying. I think it was a good choice to put this on, especially with how often you move around this way. Of course, it's just replacing the triangle button, but I use it often enough that it's good not to move my thumb away from the right stick. Inside, obviously. They wouldn't be keeping him outside in one of these igloos or something. Certainly not. Any hot gossip? Oh. Cooked alive in their armor, not the hot gossip I was looking for. Sorry. What? Where is this guy? Like upstairs? Kind of strange that the stairs are on the exteriors of the building, but who am I to judge architecture? Especially in like a cold climate. Although I guess Coerthas wasn't this cold before, so they weren't really designed for the cold. Always dragons. You've come to ask about the attack, haven't you? We came upon them before the entrance to the Hall of the Seven Echoes. Pilgrims, we marked them as, lost and ill-equipped for a journey further north. Our leader called out to them, and one stepped forward to answer. Actually, does pressing triangle do something? No, doesn't do anything here. Only during the actual cutscenes. Just checking. Slowly she approached, her silver hair flowing in the wind like melting snow. Just a young girl, I thought. Some poor lost lamb in search of salvation. Our leader must have thought the same. Else why would he let her draw so close? They exchanged some words I couldn't hear, and she leaned forward as if to kiss his cheek. And then he sighed and crumpled to the ground. I didn't know what happened until I saw the snow turn red. And then there was red everywhere I looked. I tried to fight, but took a blow to the head, and by the time I came to, the others were dead and the heretics were unloading the wagon. they'd have killed me, so I just lay still and listened. Iceheart's people spoke of deliverance and resurrection, and they spoke of Shiva. To hear them speak, they truly believe they can resurrect Shiva, but that can't be possible, can't it? Can it? It can't. And of course, on track 4, each patch having a trial, we're now getting hints at it. Unlike the other patches where I think they kind of hinted at the trial you'd have very early on, like Leviathan and Mugelmog and even Odin. I guess this is the first time that they took a while to get into it, though it would have been part of the promotional material, obviously. I believe this would be the last element, I guess, that we have to deal with. With each of the other primals we dealt with corresponding to one of the 6 elements, or... is that right? It was... yes, 6 elements, excluding light and dark. Fire for Ifrit, ice for upcoming Shiva, wind for Garuda, earth for Titan, lightning for Ramu, and water for Leviathan, with King Mugelmog being an exception, just a special little treat. After this, I guess we're kind of done with the basic quote-unquote basic primals. Ah, you've returned. What news have you for us? It seems Lady Iceheart does not scruple to sully her hands with blood. Who is this Shiva the heretic spoke of? Have you not read a single line of the Enchiridion, Master Alphinaud? Shiva was a traitor to kith and kin, an apostate who lay down with dragons. I don't know, sounds kinda cool to me. But I'm biased. Now, we cannot expect all foreigners to know Ishgardian scripture so well, particularly when it concerns the patron saints of heretics. Wait, you say she is their patron saint? Oh no. It all makes sense now. Lord Horsevant, what was the caravan's cargo? Ah, if I recall correctly, the Diamond Forge had requested a rather large quantity of crystals. Do you not see? Iceheart and her followers intend to summon Shiva, as a beast tribe would a primal. Why else would they go to such lengths to secure crystals? I shall inform the Lord Commander at once. Lord Horsevant, you would agree that discretion is of paramount concern. Of course. I trust that we can count on your continued support, Master Alphinaud. The Scions of the Seventh Dawn are sworn to combat the primal threat. Our support is a given. I will need to send word to my brethren in Revenant's Toll. Our entire order must turn its efforts to the prevention of this summoning. Naturally, that includes you, though I am sure you would not miss this for the world. Komori is not only on the job to take care of heretics and summonings, but I think she's a big fan of dragons and dragon heretics. It was a big disappointment that little guy, who is that guy again? Horsevant's little friend somewhere in this area or something. I think not, I want to say Florence? That little green guy. We'll meet him again. He didn't end up being a heretic like Komori wanted. But this sounds like a good lead to lay down with dragons, so to speak. Get in with the heretics. That's Komori's interest, the heretics, and their cool religion, commanding dragons and stuff. It's my interest, that other thing, about laying down with. Anyway. The persistent attacks on our caravan seemed a little more than a nuisance at first. The heretics were a problem to be sure, but a relatively minor one. That was before I discerned the purpose behind their attacks, of course. Now they have my undivided attention. After apprising Minfilia of the situation, I shall summon a unit of Crystal Braves to assist us. As for you, Komori, pray join me in Whitebrim Front. Since the incident at Snowcloak, the Knights of House Durandare have redoubled their reconnaissance efforts in the region. It is my hope that they have information which may help us to determine precisely where the heretics are hiding. Given our mutual enemy, Lord Drillmont should be eager to oblige us. I shall see you there then? Good. Heretics, Dravanians, old familiar enemies. There is something beyond. This is something beyond all imagination. Forgot to turn the jump button back on. There we go. No need to do those anymore. Really only did them for the company's seals, and now I can turn in whatever items I get from dungeons for seals. Although I guess I could recruit people to my squadron by doing challenges for fates, but I don't need to worry about that. They'll come naturally as I naturally do other challenges. Other thing about this new controller, The grips are, I guess, something they paid some attention to making more grippy. But they're also a little bit more itchy, maybe? Maybe I'll get used to them, I don't know. Just something that I noted a little bit different. Maybe I'll end up liking the better grip on these the more I use it. We'll see. Commander Levier's assessment is most troubling. If he is correct, Iceheart now poses a threat to Ishgard at large. By what means do these heretics travel so quickly? We must know, or our every attempt to apprehend them will be doomed to fail. Just so you know, my men have already started to arrive. Captain Ilbert always keeps a few braves at the ready in case of emergencies. That's what they're here for. The Scions of the Seventh Dawn wish to join in the hunt for Iceheart. Your assistance is more than welcome, my friends. Considering the report I just received, I dare say your timing could be no better. We are all ears, Lord Drillmont. A band of pilgrims was seen transporting a large number of crates to the west. Their garb appears to match the description provided by the squire who survived the attack. Alas, our scouts lost track of them at Snowcloak, that self-same frozen wall which we speculated might conceal the heretics' hideaway. Suffice it to say, the disappearance of these pilgrims and their provisions all but confirms our suspicions. I have heard enough. My knights will join the hunt. I took the liberty of summoning a unit of Crystal Braves to White Room Front. Given the gravity of the situation, I trust you'll agree that we must use every resource available to us. These are extraordinary circumstances, Commander. It would be in our best interests to coordinate our efforts. Such was my intent from the start, Sir Aymeric. And so it begins, my friend, though I dare say it will prove an all too brief collaboration. Iceheart will not elude the combined forces of the Crystal Braves and the Temple Knights for ere long. Nevertheless, a wise man does not wager all upon the success of a single solution. There may yet be a subtler means by which we can locate the heretic's lair. Mayhap Lord Drillmont has one in mind? What, you want us to ask him? Yes, yes, excellent. My lady, everything has been accounted for. If there is aught else you would have us do, pray speak, and it shall be done. It would be foolish to dismiss alternative approaches when contending with such clever foes. I think we can all agree that a formidable foe demands a calculated response. Some still think these heretics do not pose a great threat. The slain House Fortance Knight would surely beg to differ. The boots. Or the booties? What's the difference between boots and a bootie? Actually, those are kind of... That's an interesting shape with the big flaps on the front, whatever those are called. But I'll worry about glamours again some other time. Bacon bread? Okay. It seems as though we are always one step behind, our quarry ever just beyond our reach. Though I would like to believe that the tables are about to turn, I must confess to having certain doubts. A joint effort may succeed where others have failed, but it could yet yield the self-same result. Fortunately, we are not without other options. I trust you haven't forgotten Inquisitor Guillaume. We have not. The mystery of how the heretic remained undiscovered for so long has been much in our thoughts, as has the question of what steps might be taken to prevent a similar breach of security in the future. Guillaume is, of course, from the main story of 2.0, the guy that we met when first coming to Ishgard, which was our main questline here, dealing with a guy throwing people through witches' trials off cliffs and killing them. Cliffs. That's not the plural for cliffs. Accordingly, we have conducted an exhaustive and covert evaluation of everyone in White Room Front. Though some were found to have committed certain minor transgressions, we identified only one possible heretic. If this man has pledged himself to Iceheart's cause, he will have taken note of the movements of the Temple Knights and the Crystal Braves, and upon recognizing their intent, he may attempt to warn the heretics. The man's watch is to end soon, at which point he must report to Sir John Tremont in the yard. I would have you keep an eye on him. If he ventures beyond the walls, follow him discreetly. Should he meet with a heretic, do not interfere. Simply watch and listen. I have seen to it that the suspect knows nothing which could endanger our plans. If the suspect shows himself to be a heretic, we will deal with him accordingly. For now, we shall merely observe, and mayhap profit from his treachery. Send the short person to do the spying. Good idea. I guess they don't really have too much Lalafell in the Ishgardian units. Mainly just Eorzean, maybe some here. Actually, I guess everyone here is Eorzean. Kinda looks like it. I'm pretty sure there are some here. No, there are here in Ishgard. I remember now. And maybe other races. Rogadin, potentially. But over here it just seems to all be Eorzean. The suspected heretic leaves through the southwest gate. Even if we didn't know that, we're directed towards the marker on the map. So I guess there are certain missions maybe later in the game where they do kind of rely on the player to actually make deductions on their own about finding the next objective or something like that. And of course, there are stealth missions later in the game. We might have already had something like that, but they were different to the stealth missions that are kind of more common after they kind of integrated them into the main quest and things like that. The suspected heretic follows the road east. Those stealth missions are something that I guess they put a lot of work into to make sure that they weren't too frustrating, but still at least somewhat of a challenge. Something that they didn't have the technology for back here. Although I feel like I recall saying that, and maybe they did have some stealth missions in 2.0. The suspected heretic heads south. Surely he won't notice a chocobo flying around. Where is he? Did you lose track of him, Komori? Well, he's not here. Not in the corner. Hey, where in the seven hells are you? I'm freezing my bollocks off here. I'm here, you blundering oaf. Why are you so late? Standing on the wall, why else? I have duties to fulfill, you know. Your sole duty is to the... Bloody echo. Lower your voice or they'll hear us in White Room Front. Yes, of course. The Temple Knights are in Snowcloak. This is what you bring to me? We already knew about. Comrades in Boulder Downs will use the tunnels. Dead before they know what's happening, nevertheless. If you waste my time again, is that clear? In and out like a bandit. Is that a phrase? I know there's making out like bandits. In and out like... well, whatever. We'll, fly directly up there. They won't mind, right? The chocobo tracking in mud. They're soldiers. They don't care about that sort of thing. Probably. Well, did your investigation bear fruit? I see. I shall have the man detained at once. His guilt is plain. Would that you could have heard their words more clearly. Yet, the few snatches you are able to make out are nonetheless enlightening. It would seem the heretics are aware of our operation, and confident that they can thwart it. Their comrades in Boulder Downs are key to their plans, which means it is key to our plans that they be rooted out and put to the sword. Not sure why I received bacon bread for that, and I guess I got some shark fin soup. Although that was for some crafting stuff I did earlier, I guess. We'll have the bacon bread, why not? Actually, just eating that as my character made me more hungry in real life. Hopefully that order of food comes in soon. By the end of this episode. We have long suspected that the heretics use a network of secret tunnels to traverse the Highlands undetected. Given what you overheard, I fear that Snowcloak may be riddled with such passageways, and that the heretics in Boulder Downs are planning to use them to take our forces unawares. Needless to say, we cannot allow that to happen. A contingent of House Durandare Knights are on patrol in the area, and I shall order them to begin searching for the heretics at once. But knowing nothing of our enemy's numbers or readiness, I cannot say for sure that they will be sufficient. It would put my mind at ease if you would consent to assist my knights with the search. I know they would take courage from the presence of so storied a warrior. Pray rendezvous with them at Boulder Downs. If Alone is kind, we may catch these heretics before their plans come to fruition. Show them no mercy, Komoi. The lives of our allies are at stake. I implore you, Komoi, make haste to Boulder Downs, rendezvous with my knights, and lay low every last heretic you find. Every moment spent dawdling is a gift to our enemies, another chance for them to sink into their accursed tunnels and appear at our allies' backs. Probably exit from the top may be quicker if we go flying away. Maybe not. The length of these stairs maybe doesn't seem that much shorter. We can fly over this, can't we? Maybe not. Might reach the height limit before we actually... Oh no, we can fly over. I'm surprised. This part of the map. The place where Dolomood crashed and left a crater, I guess, though for a long time I never really realized that's what this was. Are the tunnels through here or something? I wouldn't see where. Hateful, huh? I'm stunned. Did I not move out of the way in time? I guess I could summon my chocobo, but it doesn't matter. I was hoping to finish him off with the spine of the book. It doesn't do that much damage though. Well, that's convenient. I don't think Komori minds too much about dispatching these heretics, not only because it's her job, but also because they're not summoning dragons. The cool heretics summon dragons. These ones, they're not really worth her time. Oh, Behemoth mount. I guess I could get that with the amount of, achievement certificates I have. I think it only costs like 6. Of course it is a pretty big mount, so it'd be pretty obtrusive. We're good riding around on short stack for a little while longer. I'll keep you out for the company. The nice thing about having a Lalafell specific chocobo is that it's small enough that it doesn't really intrude on the scene, especially if it's indoors like it is now. It's kind of almost like a minion. Not exactly big enough to feel like it's overbearing. Relatively, anyway. My knight sent no word of your coming, Komori. What has happened? What is that in your hand? Discovered on the body of a slain heretic. This yellowing document is covered in a complex code of seemingly random letters and numbers. I was wondering why Komori didn't just read it herself when she picked it up. That's why. Of course, she's not an expert at reading. She only did a little bit of training in that. So maybe this is just normal lettering, and she just can't read it or is dyslexic or something. Can you read this for us, Drillmont? By the Fury, those were veterans with years of service. And now they lie dead in the snow. Their bodies must be recovered and... No, we have not the men to spare. Not now. Not while Iceheart prepares to summon an abomination. The heretics you dispatched were not of sufficient number to contend with the combined strength of the Temple Knights and the Crystal Graves. There must be others, and I'll wager they are on their way to Snowcloak as we speak. To make matters worse, it seems the traitor you followed managed to pass the heretics something of value after all. The parchment you recovered is a timetable of the guardsmen's watches at our outpost in Snowcloak. The traitor was stationed there long before he aroused our suspicions. Would that we had caught him sooner. With this information, the heretics would know when the watch was weakest. They could use their tunnels with impunity and prepare their ambush. The timetable has not changed, you see. Of course, it will be changed now, but the heretics may already be in position. House Durandare must send reinforcements, even if it means withdrawing knights from the Stone Vigil. I can see no other way to safeguard the lives of our allies. Time is of the essence, Komori. While my knights make ready to depart, the heretics may take our allies in Snowcloak unawares. Superior training and equipment will avail them not if they are cut down ere their swords are drawn. But all is not yet lost. If you leave now, there may still be time to warn them. Make haste, I beseech you. Fly to Snowcloak and tell Sir Aymeric everything we have discovered. Of course, by that he means make haste to Snowcloak. Flying wouldn't have been unlocked by the time that bit of dialogue was written. But we will fly there. Can we go above this section? I guess we can, since the height limit is much higher than I thought. You can see some Garlean castrum that you never really visit, ever, in the horizon. I think that's on the mountain in the distance, so... In a previous episode, I thought that might have been one of the ones that you see off the coast of Danalan or something, but no. It's just one dotting the landscape for... well, for the sake of making the background, I guess. But you never go there, I don't think. And that wall... we could fly over it now, technically. I mean, not in-game, but... and lore-wise, I don't think you have flying unlocked either. Because lore-wise, I think you get flying in Heaven's Ward. Either at the end of a certain quest where you're required to unlock flying, or do some optional stuff where you train your chocobo to fly. Either or. All being obsolete in this case. Hey, it's Yu Hase. I remember that name. Back when we were recruiting the Crystal Braves. God's bless whoever designed this uniform. I would have frozen to death by now if it weren't for this greatcoat. I forget what I made him sound like. Doesn't matter. Sir Aymeric, he's over there. Have words with the man if you must. We shall speak anon. We are at a disadvantage here. We should linger no longer than necessary. How could any man hope to tunnel through ice this thick? It would be the work of years. Komoy, this is a welcome surprise, perhaps the only one thus far. As you can see, we have yet to uncover any hidden... You have my gratitude. Truth be told, we suspected the heretics might be plotting such an attack. Now that we have confirmation, I shall place my knights on high alert. Has Commander Levier been informed? The brave must be made aware. Just brought these two braves, huh? And that one over there. It must be here. I am certain of it. Why else would they go to such lengths to defend Snowcloak? 'Tis but a pity this discovery comes when our enemy has us at such a disadvantage. Forewarned though we may be, the heretics know the terrain far better than we. I dare not think how many are watching us at this very moment. Confound it, this is all wrong. Iceheart has us scrambling to save our own skins, when we should rightly be straining every sinew to find her, and stop this damnable summoning. There she is. Come here, girl. That was close. They didn't hurt you, did they? Only my pride, Ida. That's not the last time. Off we note. There will be others nearby. We must see that they are given a similarly warm welcome. Commander Levier. There's been a development, sir. Together with the Temple Knights, we have secured the entrances to some half-dozen tunnels, after spotting the enemy breaking the surface. But that is not all, sir. We think that one of them may be important. Certainly the heretics near flung themselves upon our swords to defend it. Aha, Just as I suspected. Oops. Again, mispress of the triangle button. Thought I weaned myself off of that. Aha, just as I suspected. Amongst this warren of tunnels lies the entrance to Iceheart's lair. Summon the others, we're going in. A moment, Alphinaud. The tunnel in question is barely wide enough for 2 men abreast. We cannot say with any certainty where it leads, much less what is waiting for us in there. Furthermore, we have no way of knowing how many heretics are still lurking here on the surface. What if they were to converge on this point after we entered the tunnel? For all we know, we could be funneling our forces into a trap. I take your point. If the tunnel is indeed as narrow as you say, greater numbers would be more a hindrance than a help. Should we encounter difficulty, our allies would become an obstacle to escape. Ahem, a change of plans. While we rendezvous with Sir Aymeric and keep the heretics at bay here, you will go wherever that tunnel leads. If you find Iceheart at the end of it, do not let her escape. You venture into the unknown, so see that you are prepared for anything. I suggest call upon your allies, though not too many, or Papalimo will sulk. And even with the Temple Knights and the Crystal Braves here, and even the rest of the Scions, leave it to Komori and her adventurer allies. That's fine. They have their own jobs to do, I guess. We will hold the line, Komori. You may concentrate on the task at hand. God's bless whoever did— oh, I already read that one. Guess his line didn't change. I'm guessing your line didn't change either? Seems like it. Except for you, Aymeric. I'm informed that Commander Leveilleur has asked you to lead a party down one of the tunnels. A characteristically daring proposition. And I can think of no one better qualified for the task. I bid you good fortune. The entrance to the tunnel, madam, is just over here. Had we not seen the heretics breaking the surface, we would never have noticed it. Per Sir Aymeric's orders, we shall guard the outside. Please be aware that even should you encounter significant resistance, we cannot leave our post. This turtle, it's been kind of trying to hog the spotlight, floating in front of the camera whenever I'm talking to people. I like it. I like having it around. But maybe when I'm in cutscene heavy territory or dialogue heavy stuff, I'll switch back to the usual. I am grateful for having received it though. Make no mistake. Now as for this dungeon, we don't have the time to do it this episode, unfortunately. So I say while we're waiting on that, let's maybe some questing over in Cortus, or rather Mordona. Or we can just do some side quests in the area here. I was thinking about this earlier. We can clear out some side quests in Horchiffon's little room. We kind of meet there frequently, so having less people with issues in the room would make it feel a little bit more at home. Let's do your quest, Yale. Adventurer, I hear you like a good hunt. The common folk tell me they have lost a good many of their animals to an ogre. Their petitions have come to naught, and so they come to me, and I, in turn, come to you. We must needs have a decoy for this hunt, but I would not ask the folk to risk more of their livelihood. Let us use my own beloved Sebastian to lure this ogre out into the open. Oh, he is my darling Caracul. A wise knight keeps her own source of wool. Yes, Sebastian has clothed me since I came to this camp, and will someday feed me too, no doubt. But today, you will return him to me safe and sound. The heretic's aggression grows by leaps and bounds, but we of House Fortemps are not wont to cower behind our walls. Caracul, that's a little sheep. If the talk about wool didn't tip that off. I remember hunting down Caracul for their wool whenever I was doing some crafting stuff on my main character. A black sheep. Come along, Sebastian. He's in our inventory now. If this were Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or something, there would be a little mini-game where we would have to tug him along by the rope. Or tug a can along by the rope to lure over Sebastian, which is something you actually do with a chicken in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Kind of one of the sillier missions, which I guess was the point. But in 14 they just go into your inventory. No. That's ours to eat. That guy was nothing. I guess we do need to take him back. Almost forgot. By which I mean Komori almost forgot. You lose Sebastian from his bonds. Leave him be, and he will make his own way back. Oh, he was tied down, was he? I guess he does make his own way back. Now that we can fly, we can actually drop down to Witch Drop here. Although I guess you could walk down the ramp here before. Actually, you can go in a cave here. I didn't realize. And there's some void scent for some reason. Guess it just lets you out the other side of Witch Drop. Witch Drop is of course where that heretic guy, posing as an inquisitor, held his witch trials, throwing people off the cliffs. Kind of barbaric, but I guess they still accept that. Part of the Holy See. Ah, there you are. And let us toast to a job well done. I've just finished brushing Sebastian. He'll get some squash with his hay tonight. Corinto spoke highly of you, and he is right, I think. There is much to be said of a woman who is sworn not to a master but to her work. With adventurers, one need only speak the end, and they devise their own means. And that's it for her worries. Let's clear out this room so that every time we meet with Horsefont, there's nobody that's gonna get in our way with some petty task. Reward, adventurer. House Fortemps has just called a reward on the snow wolves that harass our supply trains. These creatures are the most dangerous when young and starved. And this litter of 4 is both. I lost 2 good men to these wolves. Had they been knights, the hunting horns would have been sounded ere the blood had rusted. I would see you avenge them, and the reward is a fair one. Bring back the hides and we shall both gain what we seek. Quickly now. Actually, in the same location as before, more or less. Guess I could have accepted both quests, but didn't exactly know how long that first one would have took. Actually, I guess we're allowed to kill any 4. Don't even need to use my cast bar. Oh, great. Not just as short as the last one. I guess that was the right amount of time. From that smug look on your face, I should say there are 4 fewer wolves in Coerthas today. Show me the pelts and complete your trial. These are they. See the markings here. With these hellpups gone, all our people shall breathe easier. How near it is that we scorn death in the maws of a ravening beast. These men died in battle as surely as any on the dragon pyre. When knights are thin upon the ground, it is the lowly of the house who suffer, grooms and washers, porters and yeomen. Our house patches with adventurers whatever is threadbare, but some of the high houses continue to bar the gates against outlanders altogether, or treat them with such disdain that any service they accept must surely bear taint. Honor is in how justly we treat others who serve the cause alongside us, in life and death. Out of honor flows all that makes a man of a boy, a woman of a girl. Surely when we meet alone in the afterlife, 'tis honor she judges, not pride. That guy was kind of long-winded, but he had more for us. Well, if we wind up going over time again, or going with not enough time again, I guess we can accept this quest. But for now, it'd be a good time to take a break. Oh, my food arrived.